The latest film in Sony's Spider-Man universe, Morbius, dropped in theaters just a few days ago. So this is my take on it. Hi, my name is Nathan. I talk about a bunch of movies, TV, film, anything that's on the screen in general on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share what you thought of Morbius. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button. I have more content like this over on my channel. Be sure to subscribe. For those, I actually have a playlist of my movie reviews of the year 2022. If you enjoy this video, there's something over there that you will definitely enjoy. With that said, enough talking. Let's get to our review of Morbius, starting off with the good. And this film is not a film I would give a good review to, because last I checked on Rotten Tomatoes, it was like 15% or something. And I wouldn't say it's the train wreck that Rotten Tomatoes critics are calling it nowadays. It has a bit of charm in Jared Leto's performance and all, and so it's not a train wreck. It does have some redeeming qualities. Thus, we have this section of the video. Like, that one, I'm pretty sure I have chapter marks that are saying the good, the bad, final score, whatever. And then there's also some great special effects in this film. I really like the way it visualizes the action in a way that we haven't really seen before in much of the Marvel movies. And so these special effects actually kind of worked for me. And so it holds up on that level. And I like how the Sony Spider-Man universe, it's not trying to go big and better like the MCU is, because then the MCU is trying to go big and better. This film is a small-scale film, and all of the movies, they seem to be like shock value B movies. That's what they're trying to do. Obviously, to me, that's not what this movie is, but what it's targeting is a schlock value B movie, and that's what I really appreciate about this film. Another thing is that it's a very personal film, as it's focusing on this one character and his relationship with the villain of the film. And so it's a personal film on some levels of Morbius and his brother in the film. And it also has this nice new vibe that we have not seen in Marvel movies before. This horror aesthetic, like combined with these Marvel shenanigans and everything else you would expect in Marvel movies, combined with the horror aesthetic, it actually kind of works for me. And so this is a film, while I don't give a good review to, it has some redeeming qualities to it. The final thing is, it's watchable. I'm not the kind of person who gets bored by movies all that often, but it is a watchable film. If somebody asks me, hey, you want to watch Morbius again? I'm just like, well, we could watch like Venom at the Revenge, but I wouldn't be annoyed. I wouldn't be angry at that. I could watch Morbius again and be entertained by it. And so it does have some qualities that make it a solid enough film. But like I said many times before, it's not a film I would give a good review to. So let's move on to the bad aspects of the film. And the first thing you got to talk about here is that this is a film that just moves way too quickly. It has way too many parts to it, smushed into little over 95 minutes. And so it doesn't have time to develop things that happen. It just moves too quickly from plot point to plot point to plot point. And it doesn't have time for you to stop and say, oh, that was really cool, before it moves on to the next plot point. And so you don't have the sense of danger or anything, that something bad might happen, because it's moving too quickly. You don't really care about anything that's happening in this film. Another thing you gotta talk about here is that once Morbius gets his powers, it's basically montaging through things. And that's a very strange aspect for a Marvel movie. It's just montaging through, he's basically like interviewing other people and stuff like that. And he's traveling all around everywhere. It's just very weird in the way it's structured. And when I say montaging, I mean it. Actually, just like montages after he gets his powers. And near the beginning of the film, it was confusing as well, because it shows this scene with a helicopter and him getting powers by bats and stuff like that. And then after that, it just shows him as a 10-year-old becoming friends with the villain of the film. And then it cuts back to present day. It took me a while to figure out that that was after the bat incident. I thought it was still before the bat incident. And so it's very unclear about what structure that the film is in. Also, this is a film that just leaves zero impact on me. A Marvel movie shouldn't have zero impact on me, but this one does because, like I said earlier, it just moves too quickly. It fast-paced through character development and everything that you don't care about what's happening. You don't care about our characters. You don't care if they die or not. And so that's a very odd way of viewing this because it just doesn't leave any mark on you whatsoever. And that's not an experience I've had with a lot of films. If it leaves like a little mark on me, then at least it still left a mark on me. But this movie just left zero impact from it. This movie also has a pretty tonal issue as Morbius is sometimes very, very serious. Him like drinking artificial blood to survive and stuff like that. He's a vampire who hunts the night, and that it's super duper dark and serious. And then it cuts to like jokes of Morbius like parodying people like Hulk and Venom, and the mix just doesn't work together. And I couldn't describe Morbius's personality because he would go from dark and serious to going to like hey, I'm hungry and you wouldn't like me when I'm hungry. I couldn't describe Morbius's personality because he went from so serious to very jokey. Also, the villain of the film, his plan is very confusing, convoluted, and complex. The main idea is that he is rejected by Morbius because Morbius wants his safety, and then he takes the serum that turns him into a vampire. That's basically what happens. And then it exaggerates that very, very literally. And then he's just killing people left and right. He has no real motivation for doing this. He's just killing people. And he's very exaggerated. And he just wants revenge on Morbius. But I didn't see how killing people left and right would help that. And same kind of problem as the character of Morbius. He would go from very serious to jokey. So again, very different tonal shift. The trailers are very misleading for this film. They were meh at best. Vulture appears in the trailers. Vulture also appears in the movie. But it very misleads that. And this movie undermines the Vulture things that happen in the trailer. And so that's a huge problem for me. And it seemed like there were also some missing plot points. It felt like they just wrote a draft, filmed it, and released it to the theaters. There was no revisions or anything. And so I appreciated that. It was just that it was very weird in the way it was structured and everything. There were some missing plot points. I feel like this movie would have been better if it was at least 15 minutes longer. But it's not because it keeps rushing through things. And so if it was longer, I probably would have given this movie a decent review. But it's just moving through everything, and it feels like some plot points were removed because you don't know how it gets from this point to the other point at some points in the film. And so that's just very confusing with the film. And also there are two credit scenes related to each other. They are significant, but they're not nearly as good as they should be. In retrospect, these should be very interesting credit scenes with ties to later films happening in Sony's Spider-Man universe, but it's not as interesting as you hoped it would be because it has unlogical explanations as to what exactly is going on in these credit scenes. And so I have a lot more problems with this movie than I have anything to praise about it. And now for my final score. And I would go with a 5.7 out of 10. This film, it does some things very well, but for the most part, it's just a Sony Spider-Man universe dud. There you have it. That is my take on Morbius down below in the comment section. Share your thoughts on Morbius. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button. Be sure to subscribe. I have more content like this over on my channel up in that corner right there. You can find a playlist of all of my movie reviews of 2022. If you enjoyed this video, if there's something up there that you will like. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.